Yes. Yay.
Cool.
Okay, I am so excited I get to meet Alexa and Jacqueline Child. You are doing an app, and I swear I like light stalked you on TikTok. I saw that you guys. I think I actually found you on an unrelated thing too because you're using a wheelchair at an airport, and I was like, "That's my wheelchair. I love that wheelchair." And then I found out you had started your own disability dating app, and I was mildly obsessed. So I just kind of want to start off because your sisters, your business, you're co-owning this amazing business. How did this all start? I couldn't find out what you had, and if you don't want to discuss that, that's totally fine.
No, I'm an open book. I'm Jacqueline and I'm 31 and I created Datability with my sister Alexa and I became disabled due to chronic illnesses when I was about 14. And it started out with dysautonomia and gastroparesis. Then I got the eventual diagnosis of Ehlers-Danlos, and then it manifested into lupus and RA and trigeminal neuralgia, and realizing that I had a bunch of congenital things. And so really, I'm affected from my head to my toes. And um, it's all of the dating app stuff started because I realized after graduating college and when I joined the dating apps just how ableist and discriminatory the world sees disabled people. And so I was just like, this is not gonna work. I was getting rejected time and time again. People would say really offensive comments telling me I should never have biological children, or saying that I was a burden, or that their parents didn't approve of them dating me because of my disabilities. And of course, when you hear that over and over again, you really start to believe it. And so that affected my self esteem. And Alexa definitely noticed that. And then back in 2021, I had to get a feeding tube. And she just kind of put it out there that we should create this dating app that I had been looking for. And if no one else was going to do it, we should do it. And we made the decision right then and there to just start it.
Because everyone knows that even healthy dating is so easy and has no discrimination or issues. Is that your experience, like with dating too?
I think dating's really hard. I think I'm trying to think if I'm responsible for making it hard. In
That's what
front of
therapy is for,
my-
right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm incredibly picky. I have incredibly high standards, and I almost impossible. So I think it's hard for me to meet somebody, but I think there's a lot of garbage out there too. Just a lot of people who are particularly nasty. I also have just I had comments like when I tell somebody that my sister's disabled, the way they respond, that will often give me the ick. And so I can only imagine what it's like being, the person that is disabled and getting those comments. Like it makes me mad that they were commenting about my sister, and it's not, I think it is personal, but it's nothing like personal to me. And so, or about me. But yeah, I think dating as a non-disabled person is hard. I think that the dating apps have become like they're so large that it's really hard to meet someone that shares your values and life perspective. Or to find that person, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. And so I think Datability and like community specific apps in general are the future. That's just my opinion. And I think that we've seen it work with the success stories with Datability. And that's 2.5 years since we've launched. We've had success stories and we have a wedding coming up and within the next year. And I think that that really shows that the more narrow you can make your dating world, the better. And I know that might be counterintuitive to millennials who are used to like having these apps. But if you think about our parents and our grandparents, they were dating within their like circle or within their community often. They weren't going on on their iPhones and seeing people, who they would never ever cross paths with. And that's good and bad. But yeah, dating is hard. Yeah.
I can't agree more. I got married right at the start of the whole online dating thing, and it was just insanity. So I'm trying to think of a way to ask this in a way that's not, my brain just does not work today. Which one of you thinks that you have it harder? And the only reason I'm asking that is because I think I have almost all of your same disabilities. And I also was a single mom. And I thought I had an easier time dating than my healthy friends with no kids. because my filtration system was so high. They already knew I used a wheelchair, they already knew I had a kid. And so it just like self-selected so many out. And you're so right with what you're saying with like now, like we went from villages to now you have the globe. And that's a lot of people to filter through. And it was kind of helpful to have those real, for me, that really like high filtration system. I was curious if you guys had the same sort of feelings about that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would find out pretty quickly if it was gonna work out, or if there was any potential. But I think I think Alexa had it easier. Yeah, I don't get rejected because of something that's like inherent about me.
Mm.
Yeah, that I can't control. That's like really not an issue. No one is saying like I'm rejecting you because you're disabled. I don't get that. Yeah.
It's just such an eyebrow raise for me because we now understand with so many different studies how many, especially women, get left when they become disabled and their spouses. And it's almost like it's nice to know that my husband was like when we were friends, like took me to the ER and I didn't have to worry about him like leaving me there when we were still friends. And so it's almost like a I don't know. I just worry about people like that because my disorder has a 60% divorce rate.
Yeah, and that happens, but that's like the thing that people don't understand is that disability and health issues can come at any moment, and just because
Yeah.
someone's healthy today doesn't mean they're going to be healthy tomorrow and non-disabled tomorrow. And so it's like it can be so short-sighted for people to reject someone based on their disability. It's like I mean, what one will happen if you age into disability, and what will happen if, you have an accident in a week and become disabled. So like it is really fragile, and something that I wish more people realized, but they don't. And our dad became disabled, you know, when my parents were married for about 15 years. And, it was, they're still together. They have been married almost 40 years now. And it was a transition, and it was something that neither of them expected, but they got through it. And then they said that, yeah, they made promises to each other that they would love each other no matter what. And that is exactly what they did.
It's so interesting because like the micro of the world, especially when you have things like disability or chronic illness, the micro of the world when you're like stuck in bed all the time can be really as interesting and relevant as being out traveling and hiking. I mean, I do miss traveling and hiking, but we also have a great time just playing gin rummy here too.
Yeah, I mean, that's what have always said is that like I think a lot of people had always said, "Oh, like how do you do it?
Yeah.
How do you keep a smile on your face and whatever?" And I'm like, I just like find joy in almost everything. You know,
Oh,
so I look forward to the cup of coffee that I drink every morning, and if I see a really cute dog on a walk, then that gets me excited, and I think that's a really important thing. And I also think like disabilities are so diverse. There's psychiatric disabilities, there's intellectual disabilities, and then even physical disabilities or chronic illness. Don't like people are active or traveling and disabled. They're not.
hmm.
And I mean, God, we're out in Colorado, and a lot of the disabled community out here is into extreme sports, and they are more active than I am. Like they're always, doing they're biking, they're skiing, they're all the time, and I prefer to binge watch TV. And so I think that like people forget that too, is that
Mm.
not just because you're disabled doesn't automatically mean that you can't travel or can't hike. It really it's an individual thing. And if those things are really important to you, writing someone off because they're disabled with the assumption they can't do that, it's really short-sighted. Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
great point.
And a lot we see on Datability that while the bulk of the our users have physical and disabilities and chronic illnesses, we really have all types of disabilities on there, autism, psychiatric disabilities, chronic illnesses, and so it's really just a very diverse place.
So tell me about with that tremendous diversity. How does the I don't want like a full like algorithm breakdown, but what are some of the settings that you're using to be able to, for, healthy or not healthy people who are like, yeah, couch, Love Island, that's my jam. Give me a good drink, give me the stuff, or hey, I want to take my wheelchair out, like hiking and going and doing stuff. Like how are you doing that? What are some of the settings that you're offering that are different than other apps to like really key into who you want?
Well, first we have a section on the app called Datability Dates, and that's just a section of broad terms and in an extensive list that people can select, like wheelchair user, chronic pain, immunocompromised, and you can select that, and that will show up on your profile. And that's just like a really neutral and natural way of just vaguely disclosing. Like we didn't want it to read like a medical chart, but we wanted it to not feel like that pressure of being like, oh my gosh, when am I going to tell them that I'm a wheelchair user? And so just having that on your profile listed alongside your interests and your political affiliation, if you want to put that. And so that has really been such a good feature for people to just like almost have put it out there and then leave it behind and go on to dating and like to the fun of it. And then for our paid subscribers, people can search based on interest. So, if you're really into TV and film, you can search based on that. Or if you are into traveling, you can search based on that. And you can also search based on dateability dates. So if you're looking for another wheelchair user, you can select that. And that's been a really great way for people to connect. And it's a good icebreaker too.
That's a really good icebreaker. And you just brought up two of the really important things that are hard for people to know what to say when, which is that disclosure of illness, like if you use a colostomy bag, or if like there's a lot of things that people like don't know when to bring that up, and just to have it out there first, awesome. But also politics has become quite the issue in dating, and I am so here for it.
Yeah.
I I do not understand how anyone blinks an eye that politics and disability are two very important things together, and we're looking at one party that is, pretty much trying to unsubscribe most of us from existence. And I don't, yeah, personally, I'm just very confused as to the people who support that. But also, if you're dating, that's not someone who's voting against your self interest or your interests is kind of scary.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's where I have trouble dating. I wouldn't, I would never date somebody who's a registered Republican. I'll just come out and say it. Even an independent, even in the Democratic Party, the disabled community often gets left behind. It's one of the marginalized communities that's not at the forefront. And you're not realizing that disability rights are human rights. And I think I really struggle with that because I don't feel teaching somebody. I just really like, I'm tired and, I just really don't want to do that. I would love for somebody to already at least have a basic understanding of that, and appreciate that. And it is hard. It's a big ass. I know exactly, and
Love
that's
your generation, by the way. Like I am like old enough to be your mother, and I am so freaking proud of your generation for deciding that you are not going to gentle parent your partner into being a decent human. Like I bow down. I would have saved my 20s if I had thought more like you guys.
how old are you?
I'm almost 50.
Okay, I would not have guessed that.
I love you. Thank you. I needed to hear
I,
that.
I'm 35.
I thought you were in your
30s.
30s.
When you were saying your generation, I thought we were in the same. I was like, well, maybe I look really young.
Love you.
And so I was like, oh, she
You do.
doesn't.
I clocked you at like 28, so you're doing good.
No, I would not have guessed that. So you look great. Yeah. I know that that might be, you're not supposed to say that these days, but I'm just going to come out and say, I don't care.
You can live in this bed and in this room. Someone gave me a compliment who I did not give birth to or who I did not marry. I love you. Are you, please give me all the ear scratches. I'll take them.
It's like shocking to me. I was like, wait, yeah. No, gentle parenting or parenting at all of my partners, not something I want. And yeah, like I said, I have high expectations. And I'm an attorney. I'm always in the public sphere. I've worked with marginalized communities my whole career, and so I know that I'm in a unique position to have this understanding. Um, but man, people do not see outside of themselves anymore, and it's a frustrating thing. So, I think that Datability does a really good job of like uniting people that do have that understanding. And if I could create like a app for progressive people who, like value the same things, if I could go so specific, I'd probably find my person, even if they don't live in Denver, like if they live in the UK, whatever it is. But I think that's what Datability is doing well.
You're making such an important point. Like, I haven't been on the apps in like, see, our youngest is starting college. So it's been like what, like 20 years since I've been on the apps. But I remember being on the apps thinking this is not helpful. I don't care how tall they are. I don't, how much money they make is not nearly as important to me as how much they spend, or how much they are aligned with their job and their values. Like, there's just nothing without values being the same, and that wasn't something that was coming across in those dating apps with those questions. What are the questions that you're asking in your app that you are really proud of, that you're like, I think that this actually helps get to that match?
I think the Datability
Mhm.
needs section is like the one that we're really proud of, and that has really like been the most unique to us. And it's because that disclosure aspect was so big for me, and like that was something that I didn't know how to do. And then it also held me back because I was worried about having to do it. So I was like, why would I even put myself in this position? And and just like I guess giving people permission to be themselves is is very freeing. And yeah, I think it just really allows our user base like to connect on that level of a place where like we're constantly being judged for this particular thing, and now it's not even like we need to be proud of it, but it's just like presenting it as a fact and being neutral.
Like a norm.
And it's like, yeah, as a norm
To be
and
expected
if you're joining,
expect.
expect that the majority of users are going to you're going to come into contact with are disabled or chronically ill, whatever that may look like. And I think that the rest of society does not go into a situation expecting that. Like we've had accessible bar crawls in Denver, and so we'll have like a group of, gosh, it's like 30 people. A lot of them were wheelchair users because of the other app that we partnered with. And just to see like 30 wheelchair users cross the street in downtown Denver is like that expectation. Like, yes, that is reality. Statistically speaking, it's the world's largest minority, but you don't see it, especially like not all at once. And so changing that expectation to expect people to be disabled has been very freeing for people. And it's a game changer.
I love that. For so many reasons. Like, the first thing is like just getting ready to go somewhere is exhausting. Getting somewhere is exhausting. You really don't want to waste your time there or your energy. But you make such a good point about the lack of visibility, because we are a huge population, but no one knows we exist because of the lack of accessibility. I love that you're not only like helping connect people, but you're also doing events that show people in Denver, like, hey, there's a parade right out there. Like,
Yeah, and it's like when we were at a bar, a woman came up to us and she was like, "What? Like what is all of this? Like I'm so curious. Like why are there 30 people who use wheelchairs here?" And we were like, "Oh, it's just an accessible bar crawl. We're promoting accessibility and diversity." And she was like, "That's really cool." It's like, "Yeah, because it like I mean, we're not in the mainstream media, and if we are, it's one person who's like a small plays a small role in a film, um and like people just completely forget that disabled people exist and go out, and that we're
they can go to bars
very
and
average
drink.
people.
Yeah. You bring up such an important point of the media. And when I think about like disabled love stories, the first one is always that Eddie Reminer, as cannot remember his name, the Me Before You.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, so we don't get to have sex. We are basically sexless but still attractive. And we just want to die for you, like, as quickly as possible so that you can go off and live your life. And it just makes me want to vomit. Like, it's so frustrating.
I've never seen that movie. I have.
I've never watched it. It keeps coming across my FYP page, I did a quick look on like what it was about. I'm like, I have zero interest in this bullshit. Like,
It often like
It's like a
it's like
martyr.
it's the
martyr.
martyr,
mhm,
caretaker, caregiver.
yeah,
You're saying
the bell jar and the butterfly. Like, I can just like list all the disabled love stories I know of, and all of them are like, please, disabled person, shuffle off the mortal coils so that your healthy person doesn't have to keep taking care of you.
yeah, and yeah, it's really frustrating, and that's like a hurdle that really got in my way is that I think that a lot
Mm,
of people I would meet would assume that I like needed a caregiver, and that is a real thing for people with with some people with disabilities, but it wasn't my reality, and it was like I couldn't prove that enough. No one could understand the fact that I have invisible disabilities. And so that no, like this is actually something that I deal with 24/7. And I've had 40 surgeries all over my body. And but yes, like you would not be able to tell if you just saw me from either a photo or sitting at a restaurant. And so that was really a difficult thing to try to explain is like I can take care of myself. I don't need a caregiver. And also like there's like caring for someone comes in so many different ways.
it really does. And we've discussed the mental health aspect of it. And that's also a part of being a partner for someone with disabilities is like keeping things fun and entertaining if they're stuck in bed for a while. And that doesn't always mean like the spicy stuff it can, but it can also mean like just finding ways to make dates and connection when you can't experience like, other things. It's being more creative.
Yeah,
Do you
absolutely.
guys like I had such a fun time deep diving on your website, which by the way, anyone who's listening, please go over to the website because the blog is like gold. Like it is so many interesting ideas. What are some of your favorite date ideas for wheelchairs or for I always default to wheelchair because I feel like if it's a wheelchair date, it's a cane date, it's a chronic fatigue date, it's like anyone can, I feel like it goes to universal design, which means if I can do it, even like healthy people can do it. So like it just sort of includes everything. So favorite wheelchair, like get to know you date that's safe.
Ooh,
Because you can't do it at your house, right? Like that's just that we are not in that day and age. Like this is not
I was gonna
the
say,
time where you're like, here, this is where I live.
yeah, definitely not. Oh, okay. I mean, I always think that like this is broader, but researching the accessibility is really important. And there are like a ton of apps these days that do that. But I
Do you
think
have any favorite ones? Because Google just took off most of their accessible stuff.
who did? Google.
Google.
Roll Mobility and then Ahoy. Those are two that I know that rate the accessibility of places.
You're
And
changing my life right now. Okay, roll. And what's the other one? I'm going to link these in the show notes.
Ahoy,
Ahoy.
and
Oh, thank you.
of course. And I think like researching and asking your date what accessibility needs or accommodations that they may require is so important and something that I don't think has like rarely ever happened on a different app, and that's just like a normal part of a conversation that happens on Datability. Is just like being considerate enough and being cognizant about someone's needs is really attractive to me. And so
It is. That's a really attractive trait.
yeah, like I mean like that's just like not a question that's typically asked. But like would be so respected. And like obviously there's nothing worse than like showing up to like an ice cream place and then there's a step and there's no accessible to anything and you're like, oh darn.
Hmm.
Um but as for
Accessible bathroom. That was my favorite date. Was like going somewhere that like it was all accessible. It wasn't their fault because they had like advertised accessible, but the bathroom had 3 steps, which like that's more intimate than I'm ready to be right now. Like
yeah, that's really tricky. As far as like date ideas, ooh, do you have any date ideas?
Yeah, it's very Denver specific though.
Okay, go ahead.
Red Rocks.
Oh yeah, so Red Rocks Amphitheater.
Ooh.
If you haven't seen pictures, it's, I think, probably the best music venue. They also have an incredible accessibility program compared to other music venues. There, if you park in the disabled parking lot, there's a shuttle for free with a lift and everything for wheelchair users that will take you right there. And then you can go, if you're a wheelchair user, you're in the first row. You could also be in the 70th, but if you get tickets when they go on sale and you get the accessible seating, you're in the first row. And I think there's nothing cooler. And if you're a cane user or, like you
Limited mobility.
you're in the first three. You have to go up like two.
Flying in San Francisco. Like, I'm so jealous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's incredible. It's partially a result because they got sued for lack of accessibility, but something good came out of it. And the attorney that sued them is actually their accessibility attorney now. So they're head of accessibility. So it's like it's a great setup. And yeah, so I think that would be like, I know you don't talk that you can talk before, you can get drinks though and talk before the concert. And I just think like I love music. So seeing a concert and having that experience is really fun. But you can't
Do you have any personal like favorite dates that you've been on that you're like, this was really well thought out? That was someone put some effort in.
zero. I do, but they're not
You're breaking my heart. I'm so sorry.
they're not accessible because I'm not disabled, so they didn't take accessibility into account.
I'm not even asking for that. I'm just asking for like someone actually put some actual creativity
Yeah.
and thought into this.
I had a boyfriend who surprised me and our friends with a murder mystery dinner. And
So cool.
I really like that. I'm like, into like true crime and Halloween, or got really good seats to a hockey game. I really like hockey. I think it's one of the most entertaining sports. So yeah, those were good. And they paid attention to what I liked.
Yeah, no, I've always been stuck on the dates where either
You have to pay.
I have to pay or
No.
everything, and so I've honestly never really had like a great date, but it's coming.
It's just you're so sparkly and stunning and amazing. Like you deserve like the world.
I've been telling her that for years, and that's partially why we created Datability, right? To remind her of that. But I'm like,
Wait,
don't even offer to pay. Like enough. Like you've paid enough. You've split enough. That karma is checked off. You never.
I feel like I'm gonna get like so much shit for this, but I feel like since it's expected that we like do all the stuff with hair, makeup, clothing, we've already paid the pink tax.
You ask me, I'm
Yeah,
not paying.
exactly. Whoever asks pays is
Yeah.
the rule.
I just when the check comes, I just stare at them.
Comfortable silence. You're a lawyer, so you know this. I'm a mother, so I know this. Uncomfortable silence is your best friend to getting shit done. Like just the blank stare with the soft smile. You can get anyone to confess anything or get stuff done. It's amazing. It's a superpower. No one likes that silent discomfort.
Yeah, including the person who has to do it. So
Yeah,
no,
I hate it. I want to break that silence more than I can tell you, but I've seen the effects. You can know who broke what, who snuck out, who did what. Like it's amazing. Skills.
Yeah.
So what is it like running a business with your sibling?
it's actually really great. I think it's not for everyone. It depends on your relationship, but we've had zero problems.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, we pretty much on everything. If the disagreements are minor and they last 5 minutes, like if anything,
It's just like a
a
conversation.
differing of opinion.
Yeah.
And it's really great doing it with a chronic illness because she understands. Like she understands that it'll be 1 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm gonna go take a nap. And then like, I will get up and do things. And the flexibility is really wonderful. Being able to do it with your sibling. And it's also just very comfortable.
Mhm.
We can talk to each other about anything.
We're not
be
afraid to say
open.
we disagree.
Yeah.
We were just on a Slack thread with our tech team, and I said, I think I disagree with you, but let me think about it. And then she said, no, I'm telling you, this is just my opinion, but I'm telling you I think I'm right, but we can talk about it later.
Yeah.
And like there's no hard feelings. I'm not like upset Neither of us are upset. We're just
So how does that work with it? I'm fascinated because I think this is important advice even for like people who are married, people like parents, like anything in relationships works every which way. So I have the issue of ADD. I will forget what I said earlier. I also am exhausted. So if I get pushed back more than 3 times, I tend to fold all the time because I'm just too tired. How do you maintain to make sure your voice is heard? How do you maintain your voice is heard? And also that you're both able to compromise while understanding someone can't fight as hard as you or fight
Yeah.
in the same way that you're used to fighting. I'm sorry, that's probably phrased wrong.
I don't think I think I'm very aware and I won't do that to you. Like make you fold.
No. No. Although she loves the last word, and
I know.
like if I stop, I'm like a person who will cut off a conversation, like work or what otherwise. If we're in a heated conversation, like I'll walk away from it and that's fine. And that's like the last thing you want to do. And you will just like keep blabbering and blabbering. And me not answering makes her even more mad. And so that you don't like
But I guess I mean if we have a differing of opinions, I won't.
No, you don't pressure me into
Right.
thinking one way or the
I
other.
won't try to like out opinion you knowing that I have more stamina than
Yeah.
you. Like I won't do that.
No. And it's hard because she's always had more stamina in like defending and advocating than me. I'm just naturally the quieter one, and
You're the younger one, aren't you? Yeah.
like I've always had her to defend me, and so I haven't learned really to speak up for myself as much. Like I'm like, my sister's got it.
Became a lawyer. This is really
Yeah. But it's I mean, I think it's just like we make a good point to really see each other's opinions and point of views, and like even if we don't agree, like it to see how they got there is really important.
And I think Jacqueline does a lot. I still have a full-time lawyer job. And so Jacqueline does a lot on the day-to-day, like micro level stuff for the app. I'm always there for the big decisions and everything. And so a lot of times I just will hear her out. And if she explains it to me, I trust her. I'll default to her because she probably like knows best because I'm not always paying attention. Because I have another job, which you're very understanding about.
Yeah.
So it works. Communication.
it's interesting because you both have a disability in a way for this app that and we can give your full physical and emotional and creativity to it. How do you see if I can phrase this correctly? How are you able to divide up work when you have a long-term health issue? Like you had multiple surgeries. I don't know if you had the surgeries while you were running the app, but I'm very curious, and this is not me trying to get free advice at all. Running a podcast network by myself and suddenly having massive health issues that I can't do things for months on end. How are you able to keep things going when it's days, weeks, or months?
It's hard, but it's something that like it does keep me motivated to do things, and I really like I don't put that much thought into it. I just know that I have to get it done, and like sometimes that's to my detriment. I have a hard time letting go of things in my head until they are done. And so like I will obsess over something until it's checked off my list. And that's can be really hard with, chronic health issues and fatigue and stuff like that, because I can't just spend 10 hours on a task and get it all done at once. Um, but I guess reminding myself that like a little bit every day does help, and I don't need like no one needs to push themselves to a point of exhaustion. I think that this hustle culture it has taken over at least like our generation, that like it's like if you're not working to the point where you feel like death, then you're not working hard enough, and I will not subscribe to that. I think that people really should be working less and be taking care of themselves, and like it's not cool to not sleep, like to only get 2 hours of sleep. Like that doesn't make you a better entrepreneur, doesn't make you a better colleague to only get 2 hours of sleep or to never take care of yourself. It just is really gonna harm you in the long.
Cannot agree more. I'm Gen X, and I literally remember the Newsweek articles coming out when this all started with the multitasking. And I remember in the 80s reading that article. I was an annoying child, by the way. I read everything. But I remember like reading this article in Newsweek about like this multitasking is the way of the future. And I was like sitting there going, nope, nope, don't think so. I'm pretty sure that's a bad idea. I know I'm 9, but bad plans.
Terrible at multitasking, actually. And she's very, very good at it. And I just like I cannot do multiple things at once, and that's okay because then I really like force myself to focus on one thing and then take a break, and that works for me.
This makes me like a weird question because I just randomly like consider this when you're dating and you're trying to get 2 people to agree to a time and a place. How does that work with chronic illness people? Because I think you're the only interview I haven't rescheduled 6 times.
Flexibility is important, but in like as long as that there's like initiation and that intent of making that plan, I think that it's like it's okay to reschedule and
Being genuine.
yeah.
If you're using your chronic illness as an excuse to not go, I think that's crappy. Like, like if it's genuinely something came up, but if like I'm not chronically ill, but I'm really tired, but there's sometimes like I just like have to rally because I committed to this. The person is important to me. Would I much rather be napping? Totally. And I could say I'm really tired, I have a headache and not go. But like I do think that there are certain times when you have to like just like say like I committed, I made a commitment to the other person, and the other person put aside time for me, and their time's important. Like I have had times where I've committed to a friend and I'm really busy and then they cancel on me, and it's like, well, now like you screwed up my day because I would have, I could have gone to this appointment, or I could have like gone to this meeting, and I put aside time for you, and it felt like they had no respect for my time. And so I think that you're not doing that to the other person.
Yeah, making sure that it's clear that you want to meet up with this person, you want to do something with this person, and yeah, and being honest about it. I would respect that fully, rather than like just someone being like, oh, something came up, or like I can't do tomorrow, I can't do tonight, can we rain check, like tell me why, because if not, I'm thinking it's all about like personal.
Yeah.
You've just gotten to like 90% of my husband and my arguments, which was, if you let me know, it's much nicer than the story I told myself. I promise you. What I told myself is way worse than anything you could have come up with. Like, just lay it out.
Yeah,
we had a meeting somebody had to cancel like last minute, and she said like I literally can't leave the toilet.
Oh yeah.
And I've never met her actually. Like we met once at an event and that was it.
Yeah.
But, like, usually make people cringe. But once you tell me that, I believe you. And I also like don't really want you to Zoom with me from the toilet.
Yeah, please don't Zoom that. Like
in there
with the sound off.
Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, fine. And it didn't annoy me, even though I had set time out of my day to like meet with this person. I like the fact that they told me what was going on.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, something came up. She's like,
Yeah,
no,
and then I'm like, cool.
it's
So
an
you
emergency.
didn't prioritize us, but no, it was not that, and I had a good reaction. So sometimes, like, just like being honest, even if it's like everyone poops.
And dairy people with dairy allergies, they a lot more. So much gastritis, so much more. Yeah. If anything will get you there. Yeah. So if this is too into the weeds, just tell me you want a different topic. But I know that there's a lot of us who are disabled who are at home who are trying to figure out either purpose or money. Sometimes both. And I want to know about how you were able to build something like an app, because that's a really interesting idea. And I'm sure that there's probably a lot of disabled people right now who are at home who are like, I have an idea for an app. There's something I would like to build. Please build more of this Ahoy and Roll. More of those apps would be great. So how does that work? How did you go about that? How did you collect a team? As you have a really good team. I was looking through your about page and it looks like those people are very committed and very good at what they do, and your UI is excellent. Your website is super easy to navigate. Like I was very impressed. I worked in the Silicon Valley for like 15 years, so I'm weirdly obsessed with UI. But how did you build this team? How did you get everything together? How did you get through all the paperwork? Like, paperwork is what is going to kill me someday. Can you just give me like the rundown on how that all worked for both of you? I'm sure you divided it up, but I know there's people at home who are like, I really just need a basic explainer.
Yeah, well, purpose was like a big thing. I was so lost. I had gone to school and I'd gotten my master's degree, and I did that online. I went to school in undergrad in person, then got my master's degree online, and I had this whole plan for myself to become a child life specialist in a children's hospital. And then my health took even more of a decline and I wasn't able to do that. And so I was just feeling really lost, especially at the time where like all of my peers were getting their first jobs and getting their foot in their career. Um, and so that was really hard. And it was also hard to date on mainstream apps, telling people that I wasn't working and them asking like, what do you do all day? And then like there was it was inevitable that I'd have to tell them I was disabled kind of right off the bat. And so it was really tricky. And so when we thought to create Datability, I really just like put my whole heart into it. And luckily Alexa's a lawyer, and so she was able to just like easily set up an LLC, and we got that taken care of. And we got some help from our family and friends as investors, and we're able to build our first app. We connected with people who were in the Denver area, who were in the tech space, and they helped us get our first version up and running. And you just sort of meet people along the way that are willing to help. And I definitely underestimated the amount of people who are willing to offer their help and who will connect you with people. Because someone that we connected to, they were like, we expressed that we were looking for some new engineers to build our app, and they said, oh, we know the perfect people. And we brought those people in, and they are working with us, and they are incredible. And so but I mean, also like I quite frankly have had multiple mental breakdowns over taxes, and like
Oh my God, yes.
needed to get medicated. And I was like when the psychiatrist was like, what brought you in today? And I was like, taxes, and like the fear that I'm going to jail and not like realizing I'm doing something illegal. And she was like, yeah, okay, you have anxiety. And so like finding
Sorry, real quick, we have an international audience, and I think that a lot of them are like, wait a minute, what? No, we're in America. We do not get a nice little postcard that tells us how much we owe. We get to play the most insane game you've ever heard of, which is they know how much we owe. We now have to figure out through a 1,000-page tax code what that magic number is. If we are wrong, we can go to jail. If we are right, we will have to hire someone for about $150 to $500 an hour. If you run a business, you have to tell you what this is. You have to pay this amount. You also have to pay someone to tell you how much that costs. Yes, you could try to do it for free by yourself, but that's where you go to a psychiatrist for anxiety medication. So sorry, I just have to let everyone know, because we have like a massive listening audience over in like the UK and the EU and like Russia. Hi, Russia. Weird, but hi, Estonia. Hi. Very intrigued. I would love to know more about that. But just saying, like, they don't know what our system is, and it's insane. Oh, and then Trump just fired almost all the IRS agents. So good luck getting someone on the phone.
Great.
Yeah, that was great. Yay.
That's not legal advice, but now there's no one to audit your tax return. So go ham, do whatever.
No, I'm so sorry. I actually know how this works because I ran a business when this happened the first time. And what happens is the people who are low level, like,
Yeah.
just you and me, we get audited because they can afford to audit us. The people they can't afford to audit are the billionaires and the ones that they could actually get lots of money from. So they go after a whole bunch of the little guys who don't have lawyers. And I know this because I got audited and it was horrifying. It was a very scary room that felt very Black Mirror. But it's a very weird system. And when we take away the IRS agents, it's the small business owners who get the IRS after them, not PG&E, not Mr. Elon.
What I learned to do is like I have to delegate, and I don't
ask
have
for help.
yeah, and I don't have to know everything and how it works. And so like
Okay, please tell us, how did you get to that point? Because I feel like when we're disabled, we feel like we have to know everything and we have to not ask for help to prove it.
I think I taught you that a lot too.
Is this the psychiatrist thing again? Because I feel like maybe I need to make an appointment.
my family like saying like there are people out there to help you. Like you do not have to know how to file your taxes like for your business. Like you do not need to know how to do that. And like yes, it costs money for some to hire someone, but there is a big trade-off of like I mean these people go to school to learn how to do this.
Yeah.
Like I can't teach myself how to do this in a week. And I think because I'm a lawyer, I think I like made the point to you that like people hire me for legal advice and like they should not be representing themselves in court, right? Like they should be hiring a lawyer and like you know that. And then when we get these Google attorneys who think that they know more and they're wrong, and I'm like, so what, how is this any different? How is this situation any different than
Mhm.
my clients coming to me for help? You need to go to somebody for help. Like this is why we exist. Otherwise none of us would ever have jobs or careers and we would just like hang out.
Yeah, and we all knew everything.
And I think that like limiting the Googling, it's like like comparable to like WebMD and Googling chronic illness. When you or like your symptoms, and then it says, oh, it will always say, oh, you might have a brain tumor, and
It's too, isn't it? It's we all have cancer or brain tumors.
4 days to live.
and
Say your goodbyes.
it's like the same thing. It's like, oh, if you didn't do this thing, like you're screwed. Like if you didn't do this thing, someone can take over your company, and it's just a lot of misinformation and just incorrect information that doesn't even apply to you. And
So it's like fear mongering a little bit because I
Mm.
always say that yes, ignorance is not a defense. Ignorance of the law is no defense, and that's true. However, like usually when it comes to taxes and IRS, like they will give you a chance to correct it if they know that you didn't do it on purpose. If it was an honest mistake, it might cost more. You might have to pay a penalty, but like you're not gonna like go to like you're typically not gonna go to jail. I was like they don't want you to go to jail.
yeah. So, but
You're not their target.
It's hard, and the getting on medication helped tremendously. To the point
Meds.
like I was really happy that I made that decision because I was like I can actually function and worry about the things that actually matter and not the little things that my brain will spiral.
That's we're definitely in the middle of in this house learning how to do breathing exercises on the spiraling. The world is not helping, and I feel like you just described my FYP page of like, you should know everything, but none of us are experts. Here's a puppy, but the world's ending. But yeah, sorry. It was a fun day on TikTok this morning. Was quite entertaining. Was there a tool that you felt really helped you in building this app?
Mm.
Be it like Fiverr to find people, or if there was.
I think like finding people that like that come recommended.
I think you need to have a network. You need to start building a network, and we didn't know what questions to ask. And so
Ooh, tell me what the questions are that you figured out were good.
to see references, to see their portfolio, to make sure like they understand what you want and if they are able to do it. And they're not just like, yes, like nodding. Because that's what happened to us when we first started. And then we got the app and it crashed and it like literally was terrible and Jacqueline cried for hours. We had to like part ways with that person. And I said, I don't think that they don't have the skills to complete this. And they agreed. Why didn't they just say something before? I don't know. But if we had asked like for like references or past applications that they had built, we would have probably been able to tell. So that's our bad. But coming recommended is always best. But like we got our MVP from a group of people that did not come recommended. We found them and we did ask for previous apps, and we knew that they could at least get our app off the ground. We ultimately hit the ceiling with them and couldn't grow anymore. And then by that time, we had already made enough connections to find our team now. But like we knew the second time around, like at least baseline questions to ask, and we knew that they weren't going to be our forever team either. So I think intentions, like understanding everyone's intentions, is helpful as well.
Yeah, and also understanding that like everyone no one knows everything, and that
Mhm.
it's okay if people do make mistakes and people
Mhm.
can get better at their job. And just giving people a little bit of grace
Mhm.
is important.
What's your favorite lesson about running a business and being a CEO of other people? 'Cause I feel like that's a skill that maybe not everyone just innately has. And it sounds like you both started from a place where you were not bosses running like a whole show before. What's the thing that you are really proud of yourselves for learning?
I think I'm proud of just like being able to put my foot down and speaking my mind. I'm definitely a people pleaser, and so just being able to like confidently say something is important. And also just like I've learned so much. I never thought I would need to know or want to know any of these things, but I've just learned just a lot, like all of the intricacies of about running a business.
I have the opposite learning because I've never had an issue speaking my mind or everybody.
I'm so jealous of you, by the way. Like,
I
I
think
wish I was more like that.
learning to have high expectations, but like still be kind. Like you can expect good work and not be a monster. You can
So
say
how do you do that? That's a really important skill. Like, how do you
please and thank you.
that I want so many more details on that one.
Please and thank you, I think. And like we appreciate you. Yeah, we
How
all
do you show appreciation? Is it just a verbal thing or is it
it can be verbal. If we see them in person, we can treat them to dinner. But I think a lot of times it's verbal. I'm a words of affirmation person, right? So for me, words like really do matter. They really mean a lot. And so if somebody tells me like, thank you, I appreciate you, I believe them and it means a lot. And I think when we're all remote, that's like the words are the best thing you can do. But I don't get like this toxic work environment. Like I think that people produce the best work when they're happy and when they feel like they're appreciated and their work matters. And so making sure that everyone knows that their work is appreciated and it matters while also like expecting good work
mm,
is the magic key. I mean, I have friends who work in toxic work environments. I have worked in a toxic work environment, and now I'm in a non-toxic work environment in my legal work where I know that I am appreciated and my work matters, and it makes me just want to like work even harder.
Yeah.
And so I try to replicate that feeling
Yeah.
in Datability.
do you have any advice on how to build a network when you are stuck mostly at home?
The internet
Yeah, the internet
is great.
It's
Look at
really
this.
what we
The internet is very big. I'm gonna need a little bit more advice than internet.
But
like cold emails, cold DMs are totally fine.
Like,
Like
did you just go on LinkedIn and find people?
yeah,
Or
it's just like
that's how I
Reddit.
yeah, that's how we found pretty much everyone that we've worked with. Like we've just connected with them on LinkedIn and then say like, hey, we introduce ourselves and we kind of tell them what we're looking for and we have a meeting. And even Instagram, I mean, the opportunities that have come about from the internet for us has been incredible.
There are like threads for everything on Reddit. People are nice. Like if
Yeah.
I think when we were first launching, I think I asked a question on like the startup page of Reddit, and people actually like respond and are well intentioned. Like they're good people. Yeah, you have to like use the internet to your advantage. But LinkedIn is actually still good, and Instagram and TikTok. I just yeah, you have to know you have to like make the effort. And yes, it takes time and it takes energy, but you will get there. And you don't have to get it right on the first try because maybe that person isn't what you were looking for, but maybe they know somebody.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I think that people don't remember is the follow-up question. Even if it's not going to work, the question of do you know someone that would actually work is one of the best ways to get stuff done.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had a ton of people who have helped us that way.
Mm-hmm.
I miss Twitter. Back in the day, Twitter was like where I could find almost everything I needed. I could connect with everyone, and then it became a hellscape. So I'm trying TikTok. We'll see how it goes.
That's how you feel, probably.
The opposite. Well,
Twitter. About Twitter.
yeah, I wasn't on Twitter as much. I started Twitter. I started to join Twitter when like when it was hell. So I have nothing to compare it to.
It used to be an awesome place.
TikTok is like my nightmare. Like I can't go. I can't get behind the app. Like sorry if the founders of TikTok are listening, but I
TikTok has become crazy. Like last year was a very different experience. This year it's kind of shocking.
no frame of reference. I've never been on it. So all I know is my mom will send me a lot of TikToks throughout the day. And I'm like, please stop. I
What I do to my children. I feel for your mom so much. It's like my love language of, hey baby, I was just thinking of you. This is a car I thought you would find pretty. Or like
yeah,
it's my easy way of reaching out.
1 out of the 6 to like view, and that's it.
That's my son and his girlfriend probably are like at the 1 out of every 8 they'll look at. But I told them like you don't have to respond to me. It's just me saying hi. Like that's all it is. It's us old people. We're just trying to like reconnect and say hi and we miss you and like our subtle little ways because yeah, otherwise we'll call you and you don't want that.
I actually think I prefer
Really?
getting TikToks. Like, please don't get any TikToks.
I learned that if I text my son, I get a letter back. It's either an O or a K, and that's it. That's the only response I get. But if I send him the right TikTok or the right like Instagram post that he's interested in, I might get a conversation.
Far different.
We've been trained. This is not all our fault. I'm just saying, like, we've been trained into this. So sorry, I've kept you for over an hour, but I do have one question I ask everyone. And it's just a random thing I learned from Tim Ferriss, which is what is your favorite purchase for under $100 that actually helps?
Helps. Is that just a question for Jacqueline?
It's for anyone. Like it could be anything. I do not care if it's a movie, anything. For me, it's a physical thing because I got a full body. And I am not sponsored. It's a full body Sealy thing that goes over the bed, and it has 2 temperature controls, and it's a full body heating pad. And I don't survive without that thing. And it was $90. My favorite thing in the world, next to kids and pets.
Ooh, okay. Under $100. I cannot live without my loopy case on my phone.
Oh yes. Oh my God. Yes.
And it's like such a little invention, small, but it makes a difference. And now I cannot like hold my phone without having this on my case. And it just helps so much, even like for pain, but also practicality and functionality. It's really helpful. And so I really love my loopy case.
I didn't buy it. You got it for me, but my noise machine. I can't sleep without some kind of like white noise, and so I was leaving my bathroom fan on at night, and that's just like not like that's just they have a finite lifetime anyway, and that's not what it's for. And so Jacqueline got me a white noise machine, and I sleep much better. And I got this pillow, Coop. Is that what it's called?
I think so.
It's like
Does that work? Is that really worth the money?
I paid money to get a mouth guard, and I also have Invisalign retainers, and I actually have only been wearing my Invisalign retainers lately, and they never were doing a good job of getting rid of my like TMJ pain. I got this new pillow, and it comes with like extra stuffing. You can like figure out how much you want to stuff in it. I get like the U-shaped one, and it has helped like so much. And I'm a hunched over at the computer all day person, so that actually has been a really great purchase.
I'm easily influenced. So this is like I will yeah. I should be able to like turn off Amazon from the hours of midnight till 6 a.m. Like that needs to not allow me to make purchases.
Yeah, Coop pillow, and they're 99, 85. You can get a promo code. So yes.
I will be looking into this. That looks amazing. Thank you.
Close.
All right. Well, I cannot thank you guys for coming on. Please head over to our show notes. I will have the app linked right up along with all of the resources. I forgot to ask you the most important question. I'm so sorry. Can we like take another 10 minutes? You have a safety section on your site. I'm obsessed. Please tell me more about the safety section because I was like losing my mind when I saw it.
Yeah, we really promote safety, and that's something that's very, very important to us. And so we want people to be aware of the safety tips that are out there and what to look out for. And we want people to know that it is the internet at the end of the day. And we can't control what people sign up. We don't do background checks, but there are safety measures in place, and being vigilant and being educated is the best way to protect yourselves. And so, not sending any financial information or personal information, and making sure that you don't include specific details on your profile, like the place where you work or your address or even your children, if you have any. It's really important.
Can we tell that to all the men on like as it feels like a male like thing whenever I see like the posts on stuff, and it's like, why are you putting your kid in this? Like,
Because they want to like appear like they're good with kids. I think it's good, but then I'm like, you just posted a picture
privacy issue.
of your nephew. I'm like, did you ask his mother if you could put his face on a dating app? Like, I hope you asked. But I know, yeah.
Sorry, that would just give me such the ick when I see anything like that. Like,
Kids, I think that's important information to disclose, but you don't have to like put pictures.
no, I have a sister who's dating, and every time I sit down with her, I'm like, what the fuck? What the actual fuck? Sorry, back to what I'd actually asked you about. Like when I was going through, and I don't want you to undersell what you did, because you made this incredible page that lays out very specific things that can happen to disabled people, like devotees. I'm not going to explain it. Look it up. Go to the website and look up the help site. There's very specific issues for disabled people that if you have not been dating in the disabled world for long, you would not necessarily be aware of. So this like laid everything out so clearly, easily to read, with tremendous resources at the bottom. And I will absolutely have that link in like directly to that page. So I just think that everyone needs to look at that. Even if you're healthy and you're dating, this gives you a lot of good advice. But
Absolutely.
man, if you're sick, I would not date without reading that page first.
And I just want to say that in July, we're coming out with a rewritten, revamped app, and that we are available in Canada, North America, and the UK, and we will be expanding to the EU once like this launch comes out. And
I'm so excited for you guys.
I just wanted to say that since we have a large international user base.
We do. I wasn't even sure if this was and this is my bad for not asking you guys on how international you were or how national you are.
Yes, UK users join, and right now you're seeing basically the first version of the app, but the new and improved version is going to be coming out in a matter of weeks.
That's so thrilling. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you guys. Hopefully I'll have you back again when you have more changes on the app, and if there's some like very important thing you want to discuss, open door. Would love to chat with you two again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, literally anytime. All right, everyone, be kind, be gentle, and whatever it looks like to you, be fierce.